Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me borrow the car in this video. Toyota of Naperville is one of the largest Toyota dealers in Illinois, ready to find the right car for you. Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2014 Chevy Spark LT. Up front is a 1.2 liter inline 4, and down below is a CVT. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Chevy Spark for a couple of reasons. First of all, I've done the newer gen Chevy Spark, I've done the Sonic, but I've never filmed this here technically third, but first generation of Chevy Spark that we got here in the United States. And it's in a very, very fun color, so I'm excited to share that with you today. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, ZachPradel.com, where you can buy stickers and other merchandise when it becomes available. You could also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, and you get a video of your car, just like the one you're watching of this Chevy Spark. And you could read my behind the scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that 1.2 liter inline 4 coughing out about 88 horsepower. Well, it's not very powerful. It's a pretty low displacement engine, one of the lowest displacement engines offered in the United States in this era, only really beat out by the Ford Fiesta with the 1 liter turbo. And when I say coughing out 88 horsepower, it is coughing out that 88 horsepower. Take a look at this video. That was the real audio. That was not doctored at all. But seriously, my main concern with the drivetrain does come with the transmission. Like I said, it's a CVT. It's a Jatco CVT, which is a Japanese unit, and Jatco makes tons of transmissions all across the board. You can't throw them all out with the bathwater, but their CVTs have been known to be pretty unreliable. And unfortunately, I could see why. Driving this car around, even at slow speeds, fast speeds, any speed, it feels like the engine is just a microwave set to defrost. It lumps around. It can't even get out of its own way. It is so harshly restricted by that CVT. The reason I say that is because this car was also offered in a 5-speed manual, of which I've actually driven one of them. Not on the channel, unfortunately. I actually DD'd for a friend in college who had a manual Chevy Spark, and so I drove that around for a night, and honestly, it was more fun than the bars looked. And it was a blast, and it felt good, but this, I have to poke it and prod it just to kind of go. It's not very fun. Last but not least about the drivetrain, of course, is that it is front-wheel drive. So how does it actually drive? Well, that should be pretty clear. Not great. Not great at all. I'm not really having fun here, and I think it really is due to that CVT. Now, it is light on its feet. It's a smaller car, and, you know, steering input, pretty direct, pretty solid. I don't really have any complaints there, but once you cut the head off a chicken, there's a little bit of running around, but not much after that. Can't imagine you'll hear much. You'll probably hear the CVT screaming for its life, and I don't blame it. Here we go. Fake shift. That, ladies and gentlemen, was 29 miles an hour. And that was me flooring it. Highway on-ramps, beware. Or actually, I should beware of highway on-ramps. Yeah. So that's out of the way. Let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a seemingly tacked-on gauge cluster. Off to the left is a physical gauge that is the speedometer. And then off to the right, I have a little digital screen giving me my tachometer, my fuel, average MPG, things like that. This screen is so small and so cluttered that it is a pain to actually look at and try to decipher what the heck is going on. This feels very cheaply tacked on. On the steering wheel on the left, I do have my cruise control options as well as seek track and phone options to the right. The overall look and feel of the steering wheel, again, nothing crazy. It has a little Chevy badge in the center, and I'm not over the moon about it, but it's functioning. Off to the left, I do have a climate control vent, as well as my power mirrors, gauge dimmer switch, and some coin holders. And then moving onto the door, I have my window lockout, as well as my power windows and power locks. One thing I do like is that over here, I get to see the lime green paint on the inside. I like that little touch. The Mazda ND Miata does this, as well as some Jeep Wranglers. Moving into the center, I have a little information center for airbag, warning lights, all of that. And then I do have my hazard switch and 2 climate control vents. And then we have the infotainment system. I think it's nice. I don't know, because there's a power button, volume button, and home button down below, and I have been furiously hitting them all morning, and I have yet to see anything happen. Oh! Okay, it's here. It's working now. Okay, well, now that it is working, still not impressed by it. It feels very, very dated. Now, this car is coming up on 10 years old. It's 9 years old this year. So, to be expected, it is an economy car. It's a 9-year-old economy car. I can't bash it for this. But these buttons down below it, I can absolutely bash because they're terrible. They don't have any real feedback. I don't know how hard to hit them. And as you saw earlier, they weren't working for a while, and now they suddenly are. I don't know what I did. Maybe it's my devilish good looks that persuaded it, but yeah. Then I have the climate controls. Extremely basic here. Fan speed off to the left. Where to send it in the center. Temperature off to the right. Get your little air conditioning and recirculating buttons. And then a nice little traction control button in to sweeten the deal. Then I have a 12-volt outlet, USB and aux in, a little cubby, and cup holder. So we'll do a big freaking bottle test. It fails. Then we have the shifter itself. The shifter is labeled in a very peculiar way. Park, reverse, neutral, drive, and low. Of course, pretty standard stuff there. But it has what I would assume are arrows, but it looks like the number 7. So it looks like P7, R7, N7, D7, L7. Why? I don't know why they decided to do this. Then I do have a handbrake, no additional center console, and then we'll talk about the seats. The seats have this fun stitching on them, and that's going to be a recurring theme for the rest of the video. I like the fun little design. It's different. It's not just a flat black seat, and I'm definitely a big fan of that. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, you might need a can opener. Oh, wow. Oh, God. All right. Well, first of all, it appears as though you can't even see me. I'm over here. It's very, very dark. Apparently, these tints were applied in the dark. They're pretty awful tints. They're a nice shade of purple. Not great. And I don't even get an interior light. I hope this helps. The back seat is not great. You don't buy a Chevy Spark for the back seats, which is totally a reasonable and very obvious statement. But if you do sit back here, you're not going to be very comfortable. Also, it's not a 3-person back seat because there is a cup holder and center console here, but really I'm just using that to put my thigh on there. This is a little claustrophobic. It's not good. This is a city car though. If you need back seats, it has back seats, but I do think with a couple fewer inches back here, it would be considered torture and cruel to put a human. I'm okay, but yeah. Let's go hop around the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Chevy Spark, little handle under here, you can just pull up. And honestly, not terrible back space. You can get the cutest little privacy cover in the world, but other than that, really not much going on down here. I would honestly take these headrests out, lay these seats down, and just keep them down since you're not going to be using the back seat a whole lot. But that is the trunk and cargo space of a 2014 Chevy Spark. Now we got to talk about the looks, and I love the way this thing looks. I love this lime green color. I love that it's in your face. The video that came out just before this was a Kia Rio in bright orange. I like economy cars in fun colors. They look more interesting. It's more vibrant. They're better to look at. And I really like that. I like that it carries onto the interior. And I do have to say that the Spark is pretty well proportioned. It looks good, looks handsome, has a little bit of an aggressive front end, but I like that. I really, really enjoy that. And that is a huge redeeming quality for this car. But now, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think finally driving this generation of Chevy Spark? Well, I do want to note that this is technically the 3rd generation of this platform. This platform was originally designed and sold as a Daewoo. Daewoo was a company back in the 90s and early 2000s that was bought out by GM, and it was actually a Korean brand. So this vehicle was developed by GM of Korea and originally meant for the Daewoo name. Now, Daewoo went out of business in the early 2000s, so it's cool to be driving technically a descendant of Daewoo. Not a direct Daewoo, but a descendant, and I still have never reviewed a Daewoo here on the channel. I've always wanted to, but they're so hard to find. So this was a global platform that they sold all over, but we only got it here in the States in 2012. And I've always had a little soft spot in my heart for this car, not only because of that one night in college, but also the Transformers movie. One of the Transformers in Revenge of the Fallen was a Chevy Spark, and he was cool, he was funny, he was sort of the comedic foil. And so I love the way this car looks. I like how fun it is and different and in your face, and when you park it in a parking lot, you can immediately spot it. But on the flip side, I absolutely hate the way it drives. It feels severely underpowered. It's sluggish. The CVT is a ticking time bomb. And so you can look at the paint all you want, but underneath, it's not healthy. It's a sinking ship. And so that's why I titled this video, A Spoonful of Sugar. Because, as Mary Poppins taught me, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. And the medicine in this case is that awful cherry-flavored CVT. If you are looking at getting a Chevy Spark and you know how to drive manual, please seek it out. Please get the stick shift version. It's a completely different car. And in my opinion, a completely better car. But hey, if you're gonna be miserable, you might as well look cool doing it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me take out their Chevy Spark. Toyota of Naperville is absolutely awesome. We've been working together for over 4 years now. They've been such a great asset to the channel. They have great customer service, great financing options, and if Toyotas aren't your thing, if Chevy Sparks aren't your thing, I'm sure you can find something that you would like on their lot. Please go check them out with the information up on the screen or linked in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.